deserves a second chance. Even
There we go.
deserves a second chance. Even video games. Welcome to the Second Opinion Podcast, where the reviews aren't always right, but we are. We're here to give you the gaming takes you didn't know you needed. We've been deep in the gaming world for 17 plus years, covering all the news, releases, and drama in the gaming world, and having a damn good time while doing it. Just because some website gave a game a low score doesn't mean it's a fail in our book. We're all about giving games that second chance, diving back in where others quit. And we should probably tell you that we're real and we're very loud and opinionated, and 90% of the time we're completely off topic. But that's why you'll love us. This is your Second Opinion. Now, here are your hosts, Toaster, Soleb, and Bolts.
What about that new intro, baby? What about it, man? It is Soleb back again for another episode of the Second Opinion Podcast. I am joined by Toaster McGee. Maybe. He's trying to get his headset fixed right now, but I am joined by him.
I need like a headphone tech for this podcast.
If
like
anyone out
on
there,
a headphone, like guitar player, be like,
hey, you're on. Yeah, so we're back, man. We're back. We had a little bit of a hiatus as we were all busy taking care of stuff. But this is episode 367 of the Second Opinion Podcast. I am very, very excited to be back. We had all kinds of craziness going on. Big shout out to Fusion in the chat. Welcome. Always a big virtual hug to you for showing in, coming up to the podcast anytime we are live. But yeah, so things have just been crazy. We've had all kinds of stuff going on, getting things lined out. And we got some really good topics to talk about today. I can't say this is going to be like an extremely long episode of the podcast. We're trying to get back to what made the Second Opinion Podcast great. And as you heard from the intro, we're going to start doing this new segment that we used to do back in the day called the Second Opinion, to where we kind of talk about games that have had hate before and kind of give our opinions on it and revitalize what needs to be said about said games or movies or so on and so forth. So
all of this said while enjoying a delicious breakfast bowl.
Yeah. Toaster's got his breakfast bowl. Now Bolts does plan on trying to join this episode, but he's got a newborn and sometimes things happen. So
that's what duct tape was for.
That's
duct tape into the wall.
Exactly. Yeah.
Pacifier in their mouth.
But I want to give
with Toaster.
I want to give a big shout out to everybody that have been so supportive over these last few weeks. Really checking in on things. We've had some really great content coming out of the website. And as Toaster and I both surprisingly found out yesterday, the Cinelinx website has a brand new look. So head on over to Cinelinx.com and check out the amazing new look of Cinelinx. It's
dude, it looks so much better.
Man, it does.
It does. I mean, credit to Jordan,
Yeah.
But the layout before with the way the ads popped up and everything like that,
yeah.
I mean, for basically he sounded like he's largely been a one-man army for a while.
Yeah.
He did a really good job of, with that. But this we just went from like a 1987 Toyota Corolla to like a BMW M3.
Yeah. As you can see,
I'm not bougie enough to own a BMW, so I don't know the brands.
The brand new look of Cinelinx.
It's like a Jetta SLI.
It is smooth, new, fresh. Got everything lined out. So head on over and check out all the great content we have. We got some really great video content. We got some great movie content, tons and tons of different stuff. coming over these next few weeks. What was that, Toaster? I'm sorry.
Sporadic opinions from some dude named Toaster.
Yeah, sporadic opinions, but they're good opinions, so it's okay. So today we're going to be discussing Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed, all the PlayStation updates, and more. And as I per usually say, what have you been gaming, Toaster? I think I kind of got an idea what you've been gaming, but go ahead and tell the folks.
I've been gaming games.
Okay.
The video. No, I've been really hammering War Within.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get like a nice bit up on the site here in a couple of days, but it's just they really did a really great job of living up to what's his face.
Oh
God, what Metzen said at BlizzCon, with really respecting people's time and understanding that your fan base now is largely adults, that have been playing the game since they were kids, or in some cases since it launched. Which I'm really looking forward to the 20th anniversary event coming up.
Yeah,
but it's been I've been playing that a lot. Some Dead Space because Dead Space.
I've been seeing your activity. I saw what popped up the other day. I saw Dead Space. I saw WoW.
It's been Dead Space and WoW. Like I go through phases too because I still need to finish the Cyberpunk stuff. Like I haven't finished Phantom Liberty.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I only have so much space in my gamer brain for heavy storylines. Like I feel like we could do an entire episode about like the departure from your Mario style stories and these bright, happy games to like these dystopia, you might survive the end of the game, but nobody involved is coming away 100% happy. Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's, compelling storytelling, but sometimes you just want to sit with a stupid smile on your face.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you want that? But things have been crazy for sure. Things have been big influx in content creation and stuff like that recently. I have been working on, as of this week, I've been working on my Mortal Kombat Chaos Reigns review, which is coming out either tonight or tomorrow morning. Epic Mickey Rebrushed review, as well as another kind of surprise that was like a last minute surprise. Very excited to have the opportunity of reviewing that as well. There he is. There's the other bald, bearded man that we have.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello. Welcome. We're talking about gaming right now. So, I also had the opportunity, I'm going to say this now since Bolts is here, I had the opportunity of flying out to California and...
We know.
All right, listen, I'm going to ask, can we go back to that picture for a second? Let's go back to that picture really quick. Bring it back up. Bring the picture back up.
I have. Hold up. I got to find out where it was at. It was like right here, I think. Or
no, that's some naked dude in a toga, right? Or not even right toga. Here. All right, how much Just for Men did you put in your beard before you flew out to?
I didn't. My beard's not as gray as y'all's.
Well, are you about the same age as Caleb Bolts?
No, he's years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
because I turned 40 in November.
All right. So that's
my beard is not as gray, but I've always
dignified.
Well, I've always kind of hated Bolts for his gray beard because it looks so good, like the way that it's brown and gray.
Right. But you get gray because I eat a lot of
Anyways, so real quick, I just gotta say, as you guys heard at the beginning of the show, things are changing on the Second Opinion podcast, and we're moving back to a new format of things. And I'm super excited for it. But the big thing is like making sure that people understand who we are. That's the biggest thing. And that like, I don't like the conformity or whatever else of like, okay, well, this is how this is going. We're opinionated gamers, man. And there's a lot of times that we have topics that we're going to talk about or whatever else. We end up talking about Toaster eating that fucking, egg bowl that he's been eating. But for real, like we're going to be off topic at things. And, but that's what I want y'all to understand.
Since you and Bolt are both responsible for other small carbon-based life forms, you have to be up in the morning. When you were like 11 a.m., I'm like, get an alarm.
I don't know if I could do this.
It's like, do I even have an alarm? Like, where are those?
I do. It is on my phone.
So back to what we've been gaming. So I got the opportunity of flying out to Amazon Game Studios in Irvine. If you haven't had a chance, go to Cineleaks.com and check out my impressions. We were the first 6 or 7 people in the world to be able to play some of the in-game content for this new version of New World. And I've got to say, I was very, very impressed. And to all the people out there that are the negative comments that I did get, the little handful of negative comments saying that it was definitely a paid spot and all this other shit, chill the fuck out, bro. For real. Like, listen, I had an amazing opportunity of going out and checking the stuff out. They gave us this really cool ass controller and some other stuff. But for the most part, it was a really great organic event that we got to meet some great content creators as well as meet the amazing team behind this game. So I understand that New World at times had its kind of downfalls, but I really believe that they are trying their damnedest to make a tournament a really great experience for console players and PC players as well.
Can I just add to one thing to your comment?
You're like, it sounded like a paid spot that you just did. I'm like,
no, that's not what I'm going to say at all. I literally was not going to be an asshole.
No, yeah.
But so I played New World. And New World wasn't for me because I'm not a PvP person. I'm a player versus environment. I enjoy just playing my story, and I don't want to deal with some fucking 12-year-old kid that has no life and who's, been fucking playing the game and pooping in a sock.
Yeah.
I just want to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the game looked beautiful. My wife loved playing it. The housing, the day they introduce houses in World of Warcraft, I know so many people that will come back just because they can build a fucking house.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And then all I would have to say to those people is like, look, if we go kill this raid boss that we've been trying to for the past 6 months, it'll drop a blue upholstered recliner.
Like, let's go.
House. And they'll be like, let's do it. We're doing it now. I'm going to do it solo. And
That's
they're going to go in there and spank the shit out of the thing. I think a lot of the hate that New World gets is because it's an Amazon product.
Yeah.
And, Amazon, unfortunately, doesn't have a very good track record with its workers. But that, in turn, turns into a, let's shit on Amazon pile because of just how things work sometimes. Yeah. So, that's I wasn't going to, dude, I think it's fucking awesome that they did that for you. And you got a chance to actually experience that. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. Like, I'm serious. Like, the whole time I was out there, I was thinking, man, it would be great to have Toaster and Bolts here with me because I think y'all would have had a blast just like I did. And it was an experience.
They have probably gotten you into a little bit of trouble because
I believe so. Bolts is like, what's behind this door? Opens it. Oh,
like my face, Bolts' mouth, like.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody was saying something that wasn't adding up in that event, you'd be like, I would have been in the background going.
Yeah. And I'm the guy who's like, oh, Elder Scrolls Online is what this should have been. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, bro. Hey, actually, that was something that was kind of brought up, like between us as a group, not with the development team, but us as a group of saying like ESO, it has its niches and stuff like that. But like, what feels grounded about this is that it does feel like there's a ton of the world and a ton of the universe that you can play solo. That you can actually really enjoy solo. And me, Bolts, like we Toaster too, we've talked about this. Like I would love an Elder Scrolls Online game to where it's just 2-player co-op. Like that's the biggest co-op I need. I don't need a million people
But
running
see,
around.
that
all
is
at
my
one
biggest
time.
problem with Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah,
Skyrim is a single player experience. It
exactly.
is my meditation.
Yeah.
You know, I used to get ashamed of the fact that every time I started a new game and I'd be like, I'm going to use magic this time. By the time I hit 40th level and my enchanting and blacksmithing was 100, I was still that weird sneaky rogue with the arrows of drag.
Yeah.
You could pick any save on any of the systems I have Skyrim on, and I guarantee you they all look the same, even though they're like 6 different games. The first time I signed into ESO, I was like, why are there so many fucking people in my Skyrim?
Get out.
And the other thing that I didn't like is their archery. I love Skyrim's when you're using a bow. I love that interface. That is a simple, beautiful reticle, and then you go into like ESO and these other games that feature that, and it's just weird. You click and just release the button. It's like, no, I don't have any control. Like I could have just hit him in the ankle and I was aiming for his head. Come on.
And then arrow to the knee.
Yeah, exactly. But
Funny
like as
story,
you can see in
that
this
means
game,
he got married.
it does. Yes. You can actually see right here, like this is the one thing that I did love about this section is like it was PvE. And it was crazy, bro. Like getting attacked by like a thunder phantom while also being attacked by a phantom puma. And then there's like players on the other side of this area that are waiting for me to either die or be low health so I can run back over there and they can kill me. But what's great about it is that just in that section, that section right there is PvP.
You literally just said, this was great, is why I don't PvP.
What I'm getting at is what's great about it is that it's not the entire map is not PvP.
Yeah.
There's certain sections that like once you pass this area, it even gives you a notification like, hey, you're about to go into this PvP area. If you go in there, you're going to lose and you die, you're going to lose like 50% of your loot that you collected in this area.
Yeah.
So that's what's great too, is like, it doesn't just completely, ransack your entire inventory. It gives you an opportunity of actually being able to get to these areas, get these cursed treasures or whatever else, and then take them out.
So my question is, if it, you said it takes 50% of your loot, does it choose what you keep and lose, or can you
like
choose?
if you have cursed coins or cursed weapons, anything that you've really mainly gathered in that area, it cuts it all, bro. Like it will, which is understandable. It's like, okay, it's only something in that area, but what's cool about it is that you do have the opportunity of when you're in that area, being able to run past that PvP line. And then it automatically transfers to your inventory. So you don't have to worry about, dropping it or anything. But it was a really cool experience, like I said. And I told Bolts, I promised him that I was not going to sit here and talk about it the whole podcast. But it was a really great experience. I had a really great discussion with a lady named Rosie, who was the associate art director on this game. But she was one of the lead art directors on EverQuest. And she was actually one of the main people that was behind the ideology of EverQuest Next. And she was talking about that. We sat down at dinner and with the whole group, and we talked for like hours about how she was really disappointed with the community and stuff as a whole too, with EverQuest Next, because like when she was laughing, and she like, I think that's the reason why we vibe so much. But she was like, I with EverQuest Next getting announced, I was so excited about it, and then I got like death threats and all this stuff, and it was really crazy. But we talked about that's what's negative and sucks about the game's community a lot of times, is that when things like this happen, or announcements happen that they don't like, it's like someone's gonna die for this. So, but anyways, to wrap it back up, I played that. I've been playing Mortal Kombat, been playing this other game called Creepy Tales, which I'll have my review soon, as well as Epic Mickey. Bolts, what have you been gaming recently?
My time is as limited as it comes.
Yeah.
So, the main thing that I've been playing has been Star Wars Outlaws. I've got, 30, 40 hours invested into it.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm not doing any of I only do the main missions that I have to do in order to progress through the game, of course. So, but you know what? As much as the hate and love that comes with it, I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's an Assassin's Creed Star Wars game is exactly what it is. So
it is.
It's you're sneaking around 95% of the time. You're doing this, you're doing that. So I mean, an Assassin's Creed game is right up my alley without breaking a sweat. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. Like I said, I haven't dove much into the story yet, so I haven't seen a bunch of characters and storylines. So, but what I've played as far as infiltrating Imperial bases and the Pikes and stuff like that, like I said, it's
Bro.
I have no qualms about it. So
That shit's crazy.
A really good game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And speaking of that, that's why we're going to move into our newest segment, a kind of an oldie but a goodie. It's something that we're going to do on every episode. It's called the Second Opinion. And the Second Opinion is what actually kind of is the branch of what Second Opinion was originally all about. And it was about looking at some of this hate towards these games. We would originally go out and grab direct reviews from certain people and be like, you're fucking crazy, bro. Like you said here, this shit was like, you're fucking nuts. But this
there was there was a solid amount of time where like there was somebody at like Polygon that like
yes,
you,
bro.
me, and Skelly were all just like, what are you doing? Like why are
what
you
game
writing?
are you playing? Why are you reviewing this stuff? I don't understand. So today we're talking about Star Wars Outlaws, and does Star Wars Outlaws deserve the hate that it gets? So as we all know, Star Wars Outlaws has received a shit ton of hate over these last, since its launch.
I can't, game with a
ridiculous.
woman as the lead protagonist receiving online hate.
Wow. Crazy.
I can't believe that.
It's nuts.
It's nuts. It's not true.
It doesn't make sense.
It's not at all.
I mean, geez. But this is the thing with this game. It is a good game. It is a good game. Like, honestly, I've put a ton of hours into this game and really focused in on this game of like, okay, what is there something bad? I've really tried to been like, point those things out, going and like overexerting myself in the universe to realize what's going on. I've literally had one situation happen with this game to where I landed on a world and the latch would not open on my ship. And then all I did was just go back to a previous save file and it worked. That's the only thing that I've run into. That's it. And I don't understand. There's times you can look at anything and be like, the texture of this is a little kind of underwhelming, or the graphics can be a little bit better.
Speaking of that really quick, just as an example, the announcement of the remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
First, they were fucking complaining because Aloy's face was too rough for a woman that grew up in the outdoors, in the cold,
in the weather, next to animals,
in mountains and robotic animals, and had to wear leather to survive.
Yeah.
Now they're bitching because her face is too smooth.
It's crazy, bro.
Like, you pick your pixel spank fantasy. All right, and stick with it.
Yeah.
Like.
The only complaint that should have been made about Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered was the pricing.
That they're remastering Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes, honestly,
that is like
they should have been like, why, bro? It just can't. I mean, it was
PS5
version was out already.
It still holds up. I mean, you can go back and play Ghost of Tsushima on the original on PlayStation 4, and I mean, considering with the announcement of the PS Pro and that stupid fucking price tag, this is the last PlayStation thing I'm probably going to own.
Yeah. But it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. What they're doing is they're cherry picking. They're literally fucking finding small things out about the grand scope of things. They're going in and finding the most microscopic thing to bitch and complain about. So there's been times that I've played the game and I've seen like the kind of like the shadow effect on her face or whatever else. And I'm like, no, that looks a little weird. But like outside of that, I mean, that's it. This is a good fucking game. The story is good.
Yeah.
It's literally outside of the realm of our normal Star Wars games. If people don't remember, over the last fucking 10 to 20 years, we've gotten nothing but Jedi fucking games left and right, or some random look, it's a pod racer game.
Exactly.
No, dude, I will tell you, the first time that I was genuinely like, I love Star Wars. You all know that. you know, and I, as a Star Wars fan, I am not afraid to critique stuff. You know, with it, I'm not going to send anybody death threats over there not making, you know, Poe and crap.
Yeah, you lost the train of thought, didn't you?
I did, but you know, anyway, like I got super excited at level 1313.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like when I saw that taser at like E3, I was like, oh,
yeah.
If this isn't a Boba Fett game, I don't care because I'm still gonna get to be like basically Kyle Katarn. Like, you want to remaster something or remake something? Give me fucking Dark Forces.
Yeah, hey, dude, yes, but that's what I'm saying is like that. The rhetoric around this is it branches off from one thing, plain and simple, that they decided to have a female lead.
I got off bolts, so
no, you're fine. I was just gonna say that. As far as the game goes itself, I have experienced quite a few technical difficulties.
Yeah.
The Nyx, when you know, you can change his style, like his braids or scarf or whatever, but there's a visor that's got two little lights on it that he can wear, that when you're running around with them, I get flashes of light that comes off the bottom of my screen. Like a strobe.
Yeah.
If I look a certain way with the camera.
Gotcha.
I will also say that the game has crashed on me several times.
Yeah.
But that shit doesn't bother me. I mean, you know, if there was a long lengthy process of saving my game where I couldn't just reboot up and start back pretty much where I was.
Yeah. Then it would probably get under your skin.
Yeah, it would get on my skin. But I mean, it's a game. It's a PlayStation, so you know it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, but
shut the fuck up.
I'm just
you see that little smirk on the side of his face? He's like, it's a PlayStation.
And to both this point too, like a lot of the critiquing of things like shadows on faces and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we are getting to the point where we are rapidly approaching photorealistic graphics.
Yeah.
But still, you're trying to render a natural shadow falling on a face. And there's subtle nuances and things in real life that just can't be rendered. And I mean, that's like the whole uncanny valley thing of there's always going to be something slightly off with a computer rendered or generated image.
Exactly. It's being done by people using a computer. You know, it's just it's never gonna be perfect.
It's never gonna be perfect.
Is that us humans are not perfect, and even the light and stuff in real life is not always perfect. So it's definitely not going to be perfect in the games, and people got to realize that bullshit.
That's what I'm saying, man. And it's just a continuous battle, honestly, and it's a ridiculous battle. I mean, and you think about it like this. They've already announced now, it says that the Steam version of the game is coming out on November 21st. It says here that we are hard at work on multiple title updates, which will bring optimization, gameplay polishing, and tweaks, as well as quality of life changes, including adjustments to combat and stealth gameplay. So they're really working on this, and I think Massive should give themselves a pat on the back for what they have created, and honestly for what they've had to deal with from the community as a whole. It's one thing to share your opinion on a constant basis and say, hey, I don't fucking like this. I mean, we're called Second Opinion. Go out, share your opinion. Cool. But like getting to the point of, you know, sending out threats, you know, getting on social media and talking mad, constant shit about development studios and development teams that have put in hard work into a universe. That's what irritates me. And that's what really kind of ties into some of the stuff that I saw when I was in California, talking to some of these developers that have been like, it's really rough whenever you're trying to build an MMO, you know, because it's a constant online thing. It's something that you have to update constantly. It could literally break in the middle of it just being, you know, played. And
the thing is, too, is these people out there on the internet don't understand the developers aren't the ones to blame for this.
Yeah.
For this kind of thing. It's the people, the shareholders, the boards, the large corporations that have bought these development houses that now are putting these deadlines on. You know, I mean, I keep going back to Blizzard back in the heyday of WoW. You know, when's it coming out? When it's done. Well, when's that? When it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you as a gamer had to fucking live with that.
Yep.
You know, you could whine and complain and stuff, but now it's like, you know, there's this cycle of games and every studio trying to be fucking, you know, the people behind GTA. GTA is an anomaly.
It is. Plain and simple.
The fact, you know, I would say GTA, Call of Duty, those type of games appeal to a massive audience. You know, you're making games based on a fantasy, and this is kind of getting into the Ubisoft, it not performing the way Ubisoft expected it to. You know, gamers get jammed, man. This release cycle around the holidays when all these major AAA blockbusters come out and you as a gamer are like, oh my God, I got them all. You know, I had the new season of Diablo drop, the War Within expansion drop, Outlaws dropped at that same time. I haven't picked it up yet because I don't have the time for it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you see it every time there's a new release. There's always like at least a 4 gig patch day one.
Yeah.
You know, granted, now people have access to a faster speeds internet, so that's not such a hindrance. But then, you know, you have the success stories out there like No Man's Sky. Everybody shit on No Man's Sky when that came out, but they basically reimagined that entire game.
Yep.
You know, and that's worked for some studios. And it's because fan feedback, while negative, wasn't like we're coming to your house with pipe bombs.
Yeah.
You know, and Larry in the same way, like they need to put the time in. And gamers need to understand that if you want something that doesn't suck or, you know, isn't broken, then you need to give the studios the time to bake these products.
Be patient.
You know, Larian Studios and Baldur's Gate 3, I was blown away.
Yeah.
And then you realize how long that game was in early access for and how much back and forth was between the development team and the fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that game exploded, you know, to the point where all these AAA studios were like, oh my God, you know, don't expect that from us. You just admitted what was exactly wrong with the gaming industry. Yeah. You're not willing to put the time in and listen to your fan base in order to, you know, sacrifice to your shareholders.
Yep.
And that negative cycle is what's fucking up studios. And that's why you're seeing all these massive layoffs and shit, because, you know, broken products are getting shipped because developers don't have the time, because they have these deadlines, and these deadlines are set by people that have no experience in actually doing the work of developing a video game.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I think I think EA, Microsoft, all of them need to sit down and watch Sven's speech from the Game Awards, where he basically said, "This is bullshit. If you make a game fans alike, fans are going to buy it."
Yep.
You know, you look at the Jedi series from Respawn. Those are amazing games, single player game story, and you know.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think you hit the nail on the head of like patience is a virtue, plain and simple. Bolts actually had said it to me. Aw, look at that Dusty. So patience really is a virtue, honestly.
This is a family podcast. Make a family podcast.
I can make it unfamily.
Oh no, listen, their name when they got married was Dusty Bolts, you know, which is her name. And I was like, I was like, man. But anyways, so patience is a virtue, and Bolts has really kind of got me to that point over these last few years of making me understand, because I was really upset the times that some of these games were, you know, pushed off, like Cyberpunk and all this. And, you know, I would much rather them just come out and say, hey, listen, we planned on this game coming out at this time, but it's not happening. So speaking of games coming out, PlayStation just recently showcased a really great showcase, showing off 20 up-and-coming PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR 2 games. So the first one was Astrobots. There was a little update that's coming to the game with new speed runs, as well as new special bots available for you to check out. Next,
deleted that game from my PlayStation 5.
Do what?
I need this 10 gigs of space back. Get out of here.
Listen, Astrobot, I'm telling you, the amount of time that I have put into that game since it's released is utterly ridiculous. But next up, from the creators of Lost in Random, a game called Midnight Walk, which is a handcrafted clay game coming to the PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2, and it looks really, really wild. I had planned on originally showing a lot of these trailers, but we're kind of crunched in on time right now. So also revealed is Hell Is Us, which is like a first-person crazy game. Metro Awakening, which is coming to PSVR 2. Archage Chronicles. Pal World, which is right now still in a legal battle officially with Nintendo.
I don't know why people are acting surprised about that.
Bro,
when I first saw the first trailer for Pal World, I was like,
this is Pokemon with guns. Like, yeah, like super crazy. But
goes up with a crowbar.
The classic title Lunar is being remastered, and it is coming I think in spring of 2025. Also a new update for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge called Radical Reptiles, which is bringing new DLC characters. Sonic X,
Lisa and Mondo Gecko.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Pretty freaking awesome, dude.
My brothers had, as kids, we had pretty much every Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
And we had the van and we had the sewer.
Absolutely.
The first thing I ever drew as a little kid was Michelangelo. Like and then when I got old enough and actually read the Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird comics, I was like, oh,
wow. This is different. Yeah, so that's going to be really great. I've actually been playing a lot of that recently with Dante and Amara. But Sonic X Shadow Generations, The Dark Beginnings. It's been announced that Keanu Reeves is actually not just voicing the character in the movie, but he will be voicing the character in the game as well as a movie pack. And this game releases October 25th. Fantasia Neo Dimension, turn-based RPG coming out on December 25th. They showed off a really awesome gameplay trailer for Dragon Age: The Veilguard, which everyone's getting pumped and excited about. It comes out October 31st, and it looks amazing, of course.
I wish
you just say it.
I wish they had a demo.
I agree,
because I'm not sold, and I love Dragon Age. Yeah, I love Dragon Age.
You know what's crazy is
I'm not sold on this. Like,
me and Dara were just talking about this morning, and I'm talking about like with Dragon Age. I was talking about Dragon Age, and I was showing her the video and stuff like that, and she was like, have you been able to play it early? I said, no, I didn't get a chance to play it early. She was like, why don't they do demos the way they used to? Like, one of the best things that used to come in the mail was demo discs.
They don't want to release shit games, and they don't want a full opinion of how shitty the game is, and they're like, fuck it, we're gonna
beforehand
spend $70
yeah.
on this bitch.
Yeah, like
that's exactly what the fuck that
I feel like
is.
That's what it is like they don't release demos unless they're like 100% certain this is gonna be a banger. So I don't know. Alan Wake 2, the Lake House expansion's coming, which looks fucking awesome. Hitman World of Assassination, which is coming to PlayStation VR 2, which looks crazy. And then this is Fear the Spotlight is coming out October 22nd. I'm telling you guys, it is a retro style horror game. I got my hands on it at Summer Games Fest. It is a husband and wife that are behind this game, and I'm telling you, it is awesome. It's very PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2-esque, and it's really, really cool. I think you definitely need to check it out. Tower of, I don't even know, Agabsaba? I don't know. I'm blank. Dynasty Warriors Origins. They showcased that Monster Hunter Wilds will be releasing February 28th. As well as showcasing some new pre-order trailer for Lego Horizon Adventure, which looks great. Then, as Toaster had said, the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster is coming. I
mean, I am kind of interested in that a little bit because of the added dialogue. You know, I mean, the Horizon Zero Dawn story is amazing.
Yeah.
It's deep.
I can't wait to play it. I haven't played it yet on PlayStation, so yeah.
Dude,
you'll like it.
Yeah, I mean the combat's fucking amazing, and it makes you you have to be quick.
Yeah,
and you have to be sure, like, you know.
Yeah, you gotta know exactly, like, have it in your mind. All right, I'm gonna roll to the right, and
that's
I'm gonna
the first
fucking
game
do
of the
this.
2, right? Zero
Yes.
Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you'll really enjoy it.
But yeah, I mean, and also to hear, you know, Lance Reddick in that role.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
It's fantastic, and I think as time goes on, I mean, they're talking about bringing out the Zero Dawn TV series. You could see the reach as well with Horizon as a story and as a game. The fact that Lego and PlayStation are working together to bring it to a different genre, or like a younger genre,
trying to play that
younger
with Lego, like as Lego,
listen,
like
I can't fucking wait, dude. Like,
you had
I'm
to
a
be
huge
so
Lego
quick. Like,
It's going to be a little different, you know. I think the gameplay might be a little different, but they also announced Celebrate Cross
really quick.
Noir.
Well, so I think the one thing you will like too with playing Horizon Zero Dawn, you have to go hunting.
Good.
Like, if you want like the best bow or the best like pole arm thing, you have to go find these specific machine beasts.
Yeah,
which are usually freaking just nasty.
Yeah.
And then it's not even you kill them. You have to aim for a specific part to knock it off so you can go pick it up. And then it's like, oh my God.
I'm sure he'll be excited about that.
Yeah, I'm a looter by heart, so anything I got to go find and search and scrounge up, that's all about my life.
Yeah, I agree. And then, of course, they announced Stellar Blade Cross Near Automata DLC, which is coming out. It's like a crossover event. Monthly PlayStation games, WWE 2K24 is coming. Dead Space and Doki Doki Literal Club Plus is coming to PlayStation Plus October 1st. PlayStation Classics coming to PlayStation Plus are Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, and Dino Crisis, as well as them announcing that PlayStation's exclusive Last of Us Part 1 is getting added to PlayStation Plus on the 26th, with the bundle announcement of Chrome Collection for PS5 controllers and stuff. Now, the big announcements are huge announcements that I'm fucking like, dude, I am so overly excited about this. I can't. Ghost of Yodi is coming, and it is coming in 2025, and it is focused primarily around a female assassin. And just to let you guys know, before you fucking freak out and try to say that this was not a thing, in the 1600s, Japan, there were a group of female warriors and assassins. It's 100% real. Please don't sit there and start your bullshit hate like you already have done. The
Creed.
Yes, bro, it's already happening. The actress, the voice actress for this game, and the person that I think captured facial and voice for this game, super excited about it. She was a huge Ghost of Tsushima fan. She loved the game, and she was really excited to be a part of this game. And automatically, it was okay. Like I saw one, I don't even know his name, but one heavy, big like content creator in his reaction to this, it was like, "Can I play as a guy though? Like I don't." Is this Ghost of Tsushima 2? No, motherfucker. It's set 300 years past the events of Ghost of Tsushima, and it focuses on her and her journey from her village, facing off all different types of shit. And look at this fucking trailer. How could you, as a gamer, how could you not look at this? I haven't looked at this once since it was released and be like, yeah, but you're playing as a female. I don't give a fuck.
People who mention the sex of a main character, I don't care who you are, and if it's a major issue for you, then you're not a gamer. You're not a true gamer. You're not part of the gaming community. You're just there to voice your stupid ass opinion, and unfortunately, it's dumb.
It's fucking filled with hate.
It's so important to you that your main character has a penis.
Yeah, bro, I don't understand that.
Perhaps you might need to go take a deeper look into yourself.
Yeah, for real. Like one of the first. I mean, think about this.
On a penis.
Think about this. One of the first games that a lot of people didn't. What is it? Metroid. Yep. It was a female character, and all these people didn't know it for all this long amount of time. And then finally, Nintendo came out and was like, "Yeah, that was a female character." You know, that's crazy to me, dude. Moving on from that, the other giant announcement that just blew me and Bolts out of the water was Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver Remastered 1 and 2. Oh my fucking God, bro. Like, I am so fucking ready to jump back into the universe that Amy Hennig created. This game was like, dude, it baffled me. It made my jaw drop so many times. Such an unbelievable story. And what they're doing with this is bringing back that classic form, but also giving fans the opportunity of good, like, good remakes of saying, hey, you can change the style if you want. You can use the old content if you want. We have made improvements on the gameplay mechanics, camera, the things that really, really matter. But we've also updated the models as well. And, giving you the option of choosing the old school models or the new school models or whatever. But these two games were so good. And it was such a stellar series, and I hated the fact that it didn't just continue. But Amy Hennig, I want to give a shout out to you for your constant effort into making this game the time that you did. This is being done by Crystal Dynamics and Aspire, so I am fucking excited, bro.
I'm not. The minute the word Aspire got into that mix made me a little worried.
I know.
I mean, their whole response to the KOTOR 2 fiasco, just don't do the mission.
I know.
But no, seriously, don't do the mission. That's the fix.
Yeah. I know. But I'm thinking that hopefully from this point on, we're going to be getting releases of games, especially remasters, because this one has been in the works for a while. And I still hope, Toaster has talked about multiple times. KOTOR, hopefully we get an update on that remake.
Supposedly it's still a thing.
Supposedly it's still in the works right now.
It's still,
Hey, Toast. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hey, Toast, Are you a Final Fantasy fan?
Sort of.
Okay. We talk about PlayStation making remakes and stuff like that, and I'm still waiting.
Oh, the Final Fantasy 7 remake?
Yeah,
100%. Fucking amazing game. I love that.
Is
game.
It? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask how truly successful, because I know Caleb is not the biggest Final Fantasy fan.
My thing with Final Fantasy is I'm not a huge turn-based guy.
I'll see. Fuck that shit. That's my shit, bro.
So, but let me say this. Like, Baldur's Gate turned me into a turn-based guy.
Yeah, right. I got you. I got you.
But when it came, I never really came up. Like, there was a period of time where I didn't really game that much, and that was really when the JRPGs were huge.
I got you.
I watched my friends with the original Nintendo play like Final Fantasy 2, I don't know.
Right.
I would watch. I had Final Fantasy 7. I stopped playing it because I kept trying to attack Ruby Weapon, and Ruby Weapon kept fucking me up. And I joke about this now. I will say that Final Fantasy VII was the game that changed my mind about the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, wow.
Because the only reason I bought the Nintendo Switch is because I'm a huge Marvel Ultimate Alliance fan. And when the third installment of that released and they were like, Switch exclusive, I was like, you motherfuckers. And then I bought it, and I wasn't really too impressed with Marvel 3. But I was laying in bed and I was playing the original Final Fantasy VII on the Switch, and I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. So yeah, and plus now I understood that game. Now I wanted to go back. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, the fact that I can alternate between Command and just turning Cloud into fucking Dante.
Right.
I play that way.
I
do, and I kind of do that with all of the games that have that ability. Like, I tell my party what to do, but I'm in there just punching things in the face repeatedly.
Understood. Yeah. And the reason I was going to ask, how great Final Fantasy VII Remake is, and apparently your opinion is, right,
it's beautiful.
I would, yeah.
And they actually, like, the first installment is really just the shit that goes down in Midgar.
Yeah.
But the way they flesh that entire story out, it makes it feel like, this deservedly is one game. Like, you don't finish that game going, well, fuck,
right.
I want more.
Right.
you want more because it's a beautiful game. But the way they do the story, it leaves you in a satisfied state.
I get you. And the reason I was bringing it up when we're talking about remakes, Soul Reaver and stuff like that, and their Brickfist remaster, Horizon Zero Dawn, and all that jazz. Final Fantasy VII was my third favorite in the installment. Okay, 10 is number 2 for me. I would absolutely love a Final Fantasy VIII remake. That's what I would. That's why I was asking how well the Final Fantasy VII was being done, because Final Fantasy VIII is not.
I will say this: I did take your advice, Bolts, and because you had talked about the reviews and what everybody was thinking, and I did download it and I played it for about 10 hours worth of gameplay into it, and it's fucking gorgeous. It's great. The gameplay style is fantastic. The fact that you can literally change in between turn-based gameplay or just straight action-based gameplay is probably one of the best things about the game for me. And I just really enjoyed my time with it. The amount of time that I did put into it. Now I need to actually give it a chance, because just the overall aesthetics of the game and just how beautiful it is, and how well-rounded the gameplay is. It's hard not to want to play that game. So
one thing I will say, Barrett is a little over the top.
Just a little bit.
He's a little like, there's some of the dialogue with him where I'm just kind of like, okay, come on, dude,
chill out.
Like, if you weren't so trying to be a hard ass, you sound like even more gravitas. But right now, you kind of sound ridiculous.
Yeah, I got you.
Speaking of ridiculousness, the roadmap for Star Wars Outlaws has been announced officially, and there is Lando Calrissian story coming. And I can't wait.
They better just fucking live action mocap Donald Glover in there, man. What Disney did to him with the Lando thing, that's wrong. I wanted to see a Lando movie, and I wanted to see a Lando movie with Donald Glover as Lando. He was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it would be. There is a title update 2 coming that focuses, of course, on bugs and fixes and improvements. Title update 3, which is coming, the quality of life improvements, which is coming out on the 24th. And then November 21st, when it releases on Steam, there will be a new story pack for the game called Wildcard. And it also will come with title updates for combat stealth improvements, free additional contracts as well.
And you'll have to pay $8 to finish the mission. Oh, wait, it's a Bethesda game. I'm sorry.
Yes, they have to pay $8 to finish the mission. But I mean, this is awesome. Lando is Lando, bro. Like, he's like he's the epitome of an outlaw.
Very true. And without, if you're gonna have an outlaw game, you gotta have one of the top smugglers in all of the business, bro.
You gotta have Lando, bro.
I hope we get a cameo or something from that dude from Star Wars Rebels.
Who?
Not the Andorian, not the guy with the horns.
Oh, yeah.
Pirate guy that is friends with Ezra.
Yeah. That'd be awesome, bro. But yes, so this story DLC has been announced, and you should be excited about it just as well as we are. So the next
and
thing,
the lead character is still there's no update
Hondo Onaka.
No, wait. What did you say, Bolts?
I said the lead character is still a woman. There's no update.
Yeah. There's no update. They're not changing the sex of the character, so you just gotta fucking deal with it. Don't be a dickhead. So next up, speaking of Ubisoft, it's pretty much a Ubisoft centric podcast today.
To just go back to the whole female protagonist thing. You know what cracks me up the most about some of these folks out there too, is the ones that complain when you can alter a character's genitals.
Yeah,
what the? You can make you can be a dude, you can be a girl, you can be a transitioning person, you can be non-binary. You choose what you're making. Why are you getting pissed that people have the choice to make something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. And something else that we'll all agree on. Assassin's Creed Shadows has now been delayed to 2025 following learnings from Star Wars Outlaws. Ubisoft has announced a dramatic delay to Assassin's Creed Shadows, which will now launch 14th of February. And instead of its previously released arrival of November. Though this is sad news, I always think delays like this are always a warranted thing.
So I want to point something out here.
Go ahead.
The initial estimates for Star Wars Outlaws is that apparently it was supposedly going to sell about 7 million copies.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly it sold about 5 million.
Yeah.
Around there. Starfield was considered a successful game and only sold 3 million copies.
Yeah.
So this goes
cuts
back
down
to
to
what
what
I
you
just
said
ranted
before.
about earlier. The expectation that these people in suits that run these companies that own these studios have to consider a game successful is fucking ridiculous.
It is utterly ridiculous.
Now, I will say this is okay as far as Starfield goes. It's exclusive to Xbox, and then of course you can get it on Game Pass. So if they sold,
and then 3 million people fucking bought it.
That's the crazy part about it. That's what when you said that, I was like, 3 million people bought the game.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. That's what's nuts. And honestly, that's what cuts down to like what Toaster said, the expectations of these corporations. So that's just like with Shadows. I'm sure that Ubisoft knew, hey, there's still some work that we need to do with it. But originally, a lot of these dates are all set by they're like, hey, when is the fastest that we can get this game coming out?
I will also say this about them releasing Shadows in feudal Japan featuring samurai.
Yeah.
You're not making your life easy.
Listen,
you're not.
Whoever
brought that up at the boardroom meeting should have been like that meme and tossed out a window.
Yeah, they're like, Ghost of Tsushima, like that game.
So
listen, that's actually something that's been a really big topic around this
with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
release a modern day Assassin's Creed for fuck's sake.
Yeah, this is a big thing. Listen, this is a big thing. Toast, me and Bolts talked about this. When Ghost of Tsushima first was announced and when it first was coming out or whatever, he actually made that quote of saying, this is fucking the Assassin's Creed game that we've always wanted. And I don't get to play it because, of course it's on PlayStation, but now he's played it, and you've played Ghost of Tsushima. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, it's a great fucking game. Unbelievable game.
It's spectacular.
It really is. So
especially when you get those,
armor, with that said,
that, execution string that you can just take out motherfuckers by a triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you see the rest of them run away.
But with that said, I feel like Shadows is going to be, it's going to be different. It's going to have some aspects of the game that it will stand out on its own. But I think this delay is a good thing that they're doing because what did we just talk about? There's a shit ton of fucking games that are coming out this holiday season. A shit ton. So if they shoot their shit right, okay, and they release Shadows in February, hopefully we won't see Ghost of Yodi come out until maybe holiday season of 2025.
Sucker Punch is doing it right.
Yeah.
All right. When's the game releasing? 2025. When's
That's
that?
it.
2025.
Yeah.
And they didn't lock in a date. They could release that on December 31st at 11:59, 2025. And technically, the game released in 2025.
Yeah.
I've
always been one of those guys too that I would much rather have like a surprise drop. Be like, hey, the game's coming out next week.
Right.
I will fucking uproar.
I will also say this. When was the date announced for the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows compared to the announced trailer of Ghost of Yotai? Because they're both going to be female pro tags.
Somebody was watching it.
So they're like, maybe Ubisoft was like, okay, hold up. We might need to go do something. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think it was
some
actually
executive's kid was watching the YouTube stream and was like, Dad,
hey, is this
give me the phone?
Like, no, their kid was probably like,
give me the phone.
Hey, Assassin's Creed Shadows looks awesome, and it's y'all. So and they're like, that's not Shadows.
I'm just saying. I bet those days coincide. I'm just saying.
And that's probably the truth. There's probably I think that the announcement that Shadows is getting delayed was before the announcement of Ghost of Yotai or whatever, and but it would not surprise me if they got some insider information. They were like, hey, Ghost of Yodi or Yodai is coming out and it's got a female protagonist. And they're like, huh? Like, what do you mean? So, but I really do think this game is going to be great. I do. The amount of time that I've seen this game, the team that's around it, what they're pushing with this game, is I think it's going to be a really great experience, especially for Assassin's Creed fans. This is the type of game that we've wanted for some time, and the fact that you have dual protagonists that you can take in many different ways. You can actually take like this level that's being shown now. This is at night as doing her little sneaking around and whatever else, but instead you can actually choose to take this area on with the completely different protagonist and play it in a completely different play style. So there's a many times in the game that you'll be like, oh, who am I going to choose? How am I going to do this? Do I want to be more sneaky? Do I want to just go in there and just kind of Leroy Jenkins it and just knock everyone out of the fucking way? That's the thing.
That's one thing I wish the developers would have added into Ghost of Tsushima.
Leroy Jenkins.
No, like just play through it the way you're supposed to. Play through the game the first time, you finish the story. All right. Yeah. But the one thing that did kind of bother me a little bit is there were some scenarios where the game was very on rails.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I want to be able to be such a badass where I can walk up to a fort and just be like, motherfuckers, come on.
Come on,
like sneaking in there.
Yeah.
But the sneaking part was it was an absolute joy in that game. Yeah. But you just wanted the ability to just be like, all right, come on.
Yeah, no, for real. Even as much as I love sneaking around, because that's what I do. If I have an opportunity to sneak around, I'm gonna slit some throats in the dark. That's what I want to do. But at times, I'm like hour 3 into the game. I'm like, all right, let's just go fuck some people up.
Yeah.
No, it's like I have that same mentality when I play World of Warcraft with my rogue, because we're a leather class, so it's not like we can sit there and take a punch to the face.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of ways to mitigate damage.
Yeah.
So sometimes I just want to be like, you know what? I'm gonna go punch that boss in the nose.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree with you, Toaster. I didn't ever really think about it like that, but there were times that things were on a rail. And
I'm not saying it in a negative way because it's
no,
the story and the narrative at that moment,
unbelievable.
But just once you beat the game, unlock it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Go ham.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. That's listen. If you're listening, Sucker Punch, hopefully that's something that you've thought about. But that would be a really good way, especially if you're doing like New Games Plus, and they were like, hey, so we know that. Before with the story, you had to go this way, but with New Games Plus, you could just do it however you want to.
No, I there's a guy I used to work with that's like his thing is that whole parry and block combat style, and he's fucking nasty at it.
Yeah.
And that was his one complaint is he loved Ghost of Tsushima. He beat it, got New Game Plus, played through New Game Plus at the hardest difficulty, and he's still like, I just wasn't challenged. And I just wanted to be like, man, if they just unlock that, go ahead and invade that fort with 500 Mongol soldiers in there.
Yes.
Have fun.
Yes.
I will say this with the success of Ghost of Tsushima and the Assassin's Creed Shadows that, everybody, if you're a normal human being that enjoys video games, you're looking forward to that game. If you're an asshole that hasn't left your parents' basement,
fuck you.
Then, find a hobby. I'm a 47-year-old man that talks about video games. I understand I have no life, but I don't brag about that on the interwebs.
There you go.
So
it's a whack ass mindset.
It's a stupid thing to get upset about.
It's a whack ass mindset. Bro.
You came up being happy playing video games with your ideal protagonist.
Yeah.
And now studios are understanding that there's a broader audience of people out there that want to play games and want to enjoy games.
50% of the population.
Right. So, why the fuck are you shitting on somebody else being happy when you were catered to for fucking years?
And also think about how long women in gaming, females that have been playing video games have always been like, I've got
women, dude.
No,
I'm
just saying,
about gay people, lesbians, trans folks, we should be a welcoming community, a community that encourages people. And my other thing too is I've said this to people at times when I've run into people at a PAX when I happen to be lucky enough to get a media badge. Well, your podcast sucks. Where's yours?
Yeah.
you know, in this, I don't want a female protagonist. All right, where's your video game?
Yeah,
100%. And the other thing about it is we play video games. We live in a world of fantasy.
yeah,
Of fantasy, where we can do
I am not a stealthy motherfucker.
Right, we do whatever we. This is a world that is make believe. We can do whatever we want, and we live and we thrive for this on hours upon hours upon hours of our lives every single day. It's like, you know, if you're playing Baldur's Gate and you make yourself a dragon, you know, shit like that. It's whatever you want to do in this world, you should be able to do without consequence from anybody else.
like
It's your life. It's your fantasy. It's your it's your alternate reality.
Consequences.
Yeah.
No, I like consequential.
No,
But I so agree. Look, I so agree. We were going to have another topic at the end and talk about the Splinter Cell Netflix series or whatever else, but literally, I'm not even going to talk about that outside of just saying, where's the fucking game? I don't want to watch an anime series. I want a new Splinter Cell. But what I was going to say on this, and we're going to have to end the show pretty
can I just say one thing super quick? This is the one point I wanted to make with the Ghost of Tsushima and Assassin's Creed game coming out. I hope that studios or whoever owns the license sees the popularity that this genre of games has relit with people, and we get a new Tenchu Stealth Assassins.
I'm so down, bro. I love Tenchu. Man, I love Tenchu. That was a really great series. But to broaden y'all's point and to wrap up the show, I agree with both of you. I think it's just like, who gives a fuck? I mean, I remember one of the big games that I did play, the first really big game that I played that was like, over the top, just craziness and had a female protagonist was Heavenly Sword. And when Heavenly Sword came out, there was so many people that were like, oh, okay, so it's God of War with a female. I'm like, no, bro. It's so much more. Okay. It's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. It was such a deep game that went through the, just the crazy mental aspects of like what all this was doing, how the sword was affecting, how this and that.
I know you're talking about that. Let me say this. If you look at people's hate towards a female character, a pro-tag character, you look at some of the pro-tag characters in the past, like Bayonetta, Blood Rain, Heavenly Sword, and so on and so forth. Look at what they're wearing and dressed as compared to what people are wearing and dressed right now. Just saying.
Yeah, 100%. Because what's crazy is you didn't ever hear no hate about Bayonetta. No. Never heard any hate about Stellar Blade. When Stellar Blade came out, everybody was like, oh, Stellar Blade comes out and she's wearing no clothes. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, all right, well, this looks awesome.
It shows you the mindset and the mind of some of the male gamers in this world. Exactly just saying. Also, before we cut off, I want to say StarCraft and StarCraft 2 being released for Game Pass.
Oh yeah.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, yes, sir.
All right, fuck you, Blizzard.
I'm so excited.
Because if you can release StarCraft and StarCraft 2
you're breaking up
on the fucking Xbox and do great controller support, and you can't give me WoW on console, fuck you.
All right, so we somewhat listen, Toaster. We're kind of losing Toaster here and there. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you saw that or not, Bolts, but that was
what happened.
That was wild on my end. It was like a speed fast thing, but either way, I do agree with both of y'all to an extent. I don't agree with Toaster in that perspective of I agree with Bolts that StarCraft coming to Game Pass is pretty fucking awesome. But anyways, listen, this is episode 367 of the Second Opinion podcast. I hope you enjoyed our new intro and our new outlook on podcasting and much more. We'll be coming out with new podcasts every weekend, either with, the whole group or just, two of us, or I don't know. Maybe it's just, I'm going to do the podcast where it's just Amar and Dante talking about Minecraft.
Two. There's no half unless,
it's 3 or 2. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
But we love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. And please make sure to check us out at Cineleaks.com for some of the latest and greatest geek news, movie news, and gaming news. We'll talk to you soon.
To my friend Hope for the PAX 20th anniversary hoodie. Thank you.
Yeah. Shout out to Hope. Love you guys.